things every day, hoping that it comes together somehow.
Yeah, so my diet every day is roughly 2,000 calories. So it's a 25% calorie reduction of what I would normally consume. So I'm on a caloric restriction diet.
So you're hungry all the time?
I'm hungry all the time.
In fact, let me ask you really fast before we get into this. Does your life suck?
I've never been happier or more fulfilled or more energized. I've never, ever been in a better state in my entire life.
Even though you're hungry all the time?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so we'll get into that after you show me what you're going to eat. Okay.
I wouldn't trade my life for anything right now.
Wow.
It has never been better.
That's incredible. Sleep, diet. Okay.
Yep.
Steering by the data kicked off by our 78 organs.
Basically, this is 2,000 calories. Every calorie has to fight for its life to exist because it's such a small budget. And my body needs to have all the nutrients it needs to be ideal. So the objective was, how do you create a perfect diet? And so for breakfast, I eat this dish called Super Veggie, which is black lentils, broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, garlic.
And you named it Super Veggies?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so I eat 70 pounds of vegetables a month.
Oh my God. Jesus. Okay, that's a lot.
An hour later, 2 hours later, I eat nutty pudding.
So you don't eat it all at once?
No, I used to do one meal a day. My body fat went down to 3%.
Whoa!
A bit too low.
How low were your calories?
Same, 2,000. Just having it all in a single window, it had the effect of dropping my body fat.
3%, that's competition. Yeah. That's like bodybuilding up on stage. Let's go. I'm a step away from dying. Wow, 3%. That's insane, man.
I mean, I'm 5.1 now. So
I thought you were trying to bump it up.
Yeah, so three's too low.
Sorry, I had heard in an interview, somebody put the words in your mouth, so I have to be more careful with that you were trying to go up to like 6.5 or 7%.
I mean, I've been there. I'm at 5 right now, so it kind of hovers in the 5 to 6 range.
Okay, and that's comfortable. You're hungry, but it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's 5% is enough subcutaneous fat because your heart needs fat. You need fat in your body, and so we're comfortable with 5-ish%.
Okay, so then, one meal a day, it was you're getting too lean, which is already interesting from a fat loss perspective. Intermittent fasting is doing its job. So how much do you spread this out? Sorry.
6 hours.
Total window.
Total window of time is 6 hours.
Got it. Starting first meal is what time?
6 a.m.
A.m. Whoa, so you get up and eat, or do you get up crazy early?
I get up and I drink this guy here.
So like I'm wiping the sleep out of my eyes, and interesting.
Yeah.
So mushrooms, broccoli, quinoa? What was the other thing in there? Lentils?
Black lentils.
Lentils. All right, where do we start?
Well, I guess it is a question, do you prefer to eat your sweets before savory or savory before food?
Oh, savory before sweet,
okay,
100%.
So I would probably dip into the Super Veggie with some broccoli.
All right, let's see what we got here. Is there a particular, like, broccoli, mushroom, cauliflower all in one bite kind of thing?
You know,
is this cooked? This is softer than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's all steamed. So for FODMAP, to avoid getting indigestion, making it comfortable for your microbiome, everything's steamed.
Nice.
It's important to take 7 to 8 minutes. And then...
Oh, God, the mushroom. I'm so freaked out.
Yeah, matakir, yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. All right. Other than the texture of mushrooms, which I'm super sketched out by, tastes great.
Great.
What are you putting on it? Is it literally just steam and the natural thing, or is there sauces?
I can add no sauces. Sometimes I'll sprinkle with new salt, which is potassium chloride, so it's a replacement for sodium. But no, I puree mine, so it's like a veggie hummus.
Why puree it?
Because the volume I eat, it's almost 900 mLs of volume. It's very large. And so I have a lot going on in life. And to eat that much vegetables every day, puree is...
What do you chew?
Masticate all these other... my third meal of the day, nutty pudding and the berries. And so...
We're about pudding again, but the berries are whole.
Yep, and then the third meal is whole. Yeah, so the third meal is vegetables, nuts, berries, so sweet potato or...
That was good. Again, the mushroom, I'm a little sketched out by. Why broccoli? Why cauliflower?
This diet is not the only way to win. So I'm vegan by choice, not by necessity. So this is not to say that someone couldn't achieve similar or better results than mine doing other things.
Interesting.
Totally fine.
We need to talk about mTOR. So we're back to OTT now. So you're eating this way because you believe we all ought to?
I'm eating this because of the concept of what Alfred North White had said. Civilization advances by the number of important operations it can automate without the person thinking about it. And if I contemplate what are the most majestic games my conscious mind could play?
That's a question and a half.
And let's just for a moment try to create some separation with everything we hold near and dear right now. And let's just open ourselves up and say, what are the most majestic things we could experience? There's, of course, a little band of what we could see and think about and imagine and be creative. And then there's this gigantic space of unknown, of surprise. And when I think about that as the potential future, I'm motivated to spend my time and energies doing that. And so eating this food is among the most delightful experiences of my entire day. I love every second of it. I also appreciate it that it is now solved in my life. I don't spend 40% of my day thinking about what I'm going to eat or trying to order what I'm going to eat or it's all just built into a system so I can have my mind pointed in somewhere else. So the goal here is not that everyone in society creates their own version of blueprint. The idea here is that society creates blueprint as the norm. It is unfair to the individual that they're set out in society and they have to navigate on a daily basis McDonald's and Snickers and TikTok and everything else. It is unfair. And this goes back to your point on data. When you are broadcasting data, the capitalistic system is taking this and then using it against you so you commit greater self-destructive behaviors. And then we celebrate it and then we call people weird when they don't participate in it. The whole system is rigged against us. Meanwhile, we worship our technology. We are willing to sacrifice ourselves for technology. We're martyrs for technological progress. Yet we have a minuscule amount of attention focused on improving ourselves. And it should be the exact opposite. The new Apple keynote should be the new blueprint. We should be able to showcase human advancement in ways that are stunning and exciting that gets everyone on this movement of how do we prove ourselves individually and collectively. And if we look at ourselves in 10, 20, 30, 40 years, we might look back and say, that was obvious. Like, why did we sacrifice ourselves for this technological advancement? Why did we just drive ourselves into the ground? Why did we encourage each other to do all these self-destructive things? Why do we allow it to happen in ourselves? We might consider ourselves to be insane. And just a snap of sobriety, we'd say, of course, like, why wouldn't we move forward in this fashion? And that's what this is meant to do, is we naturally gravitate towards things that improve our lives. And if we could have systems that help us do that, could we say yes to it in a way that it doesn't threaten our being, it doesn't threaten our meaning making, it doesn't threaten our identities? We say, cool, because we really want to play bigger games than existence.
All right, that's super interesting. We will certainly continue balancing this razor's edge of practicality and philosophy, which I actually really do find interesting. I want to understand, so you've answered the question why you eat veggies over meat, so I get that. And I think it'll be important for us to go into the N of one idea. But right now I want to talk about, you said every calorie has to fight for its survival in terms of the right to be consumed by you. I'm very curious. I'm going to ask one question before we go on with this, which is, I think of nutrition as so N of one, if for no other reason than your microbiome, but nutrition is so N of one that we'll never get to 100% one blueprint for everybody. But I also think throwing up your hands and saying, well, it's hopeless because it's all N of one is also a mistake. So I'm going to guess that 85% of the blueprint will be the same for everybody. And then there's going to be 15% nuance. But I'm going to set aside the 15% nuance. But my question is, do you agree? Like, is it 80%? Is it 4% is going to be universal? Like, how much of this is going to be blueprint for everybody and how much is going to be individualized?
That data will naturally emerge over time.
Do you have a gut instinct though?
I wouldn't dare to guess.
Really interesting. I think everybody ought to be willing to say, this is how I think about the problem. So I always find myself spouting off about things. I know that I will definitely change my mind. Like I will 100% follow the data, but I need organizing principles. Okay. Anyway, so your organizing principle, you're not sure. So going back to this bowl here, your 78 organs are competing. Every calorie has to like justify its existence. But this bowl has raised its hand in the data and said, for all of the 78, I'm one of the best things that you could do. You've already been clear. Maybe there's a meat protocol or whatever that will do the same thing, or maybe it's even better. But the data has said, and your elf-like appearance backs it up, that this is effective. But I don't yet understand why. So what is what is the matrices of these items that the 78 organs are like, yes, please?
Yeah. I mean, for example, if my 17-year-old and I both do our blood panels, we're looking at liver enzymes and we're looking at all of our basic blood panel, we're nearly indistinguishable. It's almost impossible to tell the difference between his and mine. And that's what this food has produced.
But why isn't this bok choy in collard greens?
It could be. It's just that
why isn't this tomatoes? I'm now picking nightshades on purpose. Why isn't this tomatoes and eggplant and peppers?
As a team, we look at the evidence. We try to find gold standard evidence. So with a random controlled trial, and we say, blank has shown to do blank in this organ or this biological process. And that's what the result is here.
So broccoli, cauliflower, mushrooms, and lentils get the blood panels that we want. And you've tried, how many things have you tried?
A lot, yeah. They have for me, they have for a lot of people around me. And so again, it's your statement is you're directionally correct that for some percent of people, this will work. For another percent, it won't work. And how much of a difference, we don't know. And so the blueprint is less about the exact things and more about the system of measurement, evidence, protocol.
And I assume, because that system, so you put out a video, so I know a little bit about this. You put out a video where it's like, here are all the crazy things that we do. It's so overwhelming that even somebody with like, my identity is I'm one big throbbing discipline molecule. I don't even know how to finish that statement. But like I am discipline, like incarnate.
Yeah.
That's how I see myself. And when I watched that video, I was like, yeah, no. Like it's so complex. Like the machines, and you spend more, in fact, this will sum it up. In fact, I don't even mind the money. It's the time. You spend more money on your body every year than LeBron James. Okay? Let people at home let that one sink in. So this protocol is very robust. And the gap I'm trying to bridge is we keep talking about the protocol like sort of in the ether without like really grounding it. But because I've seen the whole thing, it's so complicated. I know we have a bunch of your supplements here and we need to get into that. So I'm going to say for now, for the sanity of people watching this, we're going to continue going through the foods that we have here. And while there is going to be N of one variations, if you're going to get into this, because I've seen the level of complexity, most people should just eat what's in the bowl.
Yes.
And I'm going to take this sort of on blind faith that if I want to replicate the protocol, rather than me go do all the things you're doing, because I'm not willing to, just being completely honest, that I'm just going to eat this. Okay, that's guidance for myself on how to run this interview. Okay, so these are the things that the data has kicked off for somebody doing this in a vegan format. Okay, so we've got our super veggies, which you smoothie the shit out of, because you don't want to chew the 70 pounds a month.
I don't mind chewing it. Hummus is my favorite food.
What do you dip in the hummus, though?
Vegetables.
Okay, so we save some of our broccoli.
So the third meal of the day could be a hummus. I'm just saying, generally speaking, hummus is among my favorite foods.
Got it.
Super veggie is hummus. It's just ground up.
In texture.
Yeah, exactly. And so a lot of people look at it, and the texture triggers these associations in their mind. And a lot of people...
In fact, you're right. Mushrooms hidden in a hummus would be far better for my sanity.
It's a lot of fun for people to poke with the thing and make funny jokes. It's hummus, and I have hummus for breakfast, and it's just chock full of vegetables. And so so that's breakfast. I like to in the morning. So then I also drizzle olive oil on this, and I also put chocolate in it. That's a recent addition.
Into the hummus or separately?
Yeah, into the hummus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you taste the chocolate?
Yeah, so it's a really weird combination.
Let's start eating through this stuff.
Yep.
So you here. We've got the chocolate. These are going to be bitter as hell, right?
They are. Yeah. So
because this is like straight up.
That's right. So there's
what makes this special, and what brand is this?
We think about everything. This chocolate's a good example of a 5-level stack of thinking. So first statement is chocolate's good for you. Second is dark chocolate is good for you. Third is dark chocolate undutched is good for you. Fourth is dark chocolate undutched without heavy metals is good for you. And the fifth is dark chocolate undutched, non-heavy metals with the highest polyphenol count. And so with every one of these things, we want to get to level 5 on every single thing. And that's what this is it's had to survive a tremendous amount of scrutiny to arrive. So that is pure 100% dark chocolate. We have tested for heavy metals with high polyphenol count. We have several suppliers.
What brand is this?
We have several suppliers we work with.
Do you not like to talk about the brands?
No, because we're actually going to make our own one.
I was going to say, like, literally, I was like, talk to Bryan about getting into business in food because
it's very hard. It's very hard to find.
Let's make a hummus, Bryan.
Exactly. But the chocolate, it's delightful to eat. And so then you pair 70 pounds of vegetables with 100% dark chocolate, and the same thing with the olive oil. So we run the same criteria of the absolute highest quality olive oil, and that's breakfast. It's the most nutritionally dense dish I have ever consumed in my entire life.
What are some of the things you've thrown away? Like we tried asparagus. Yeah, we don't do asparagus anymore. Are there any ones that were amiss?
I mean, at one point I had too many carrots in my diet.
Why? So I also had to dial back the carrots, but I did it because it was spiking the life out of my glucose, which I was utterly scandalized by. I had no idea that baby carrots, I don't know if it matters, but baby carrots, if I eat them to satiety, I will spike my glucose over 100, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And I live in the sort of mid to low 80s. Is that why you did it, or was there something else?
No, so
the organs were kicking off bad data.
Early on, we had settled in on the first 2 dishes of the day, the drink and the 2 dishes, the chocolate and the olive oil.
We haven't talked about the drink yet.
And then the third dish we identified like 100 plus vegetables and like basically this huge number of things. And so the person I work with, we just said, randomly choose from this assortment of vegetables and vary it up. Like give me some diversity of food. And so we really let
Do you think that's important?
Well, we were just testing it out. Like let it be a wild card. And so they tried a whole bunch of different preparations. And so in that, it wasn't a systematic approach. And so we just had too many carrots. And so that showed up in our measurement. And so now...
How did you know it was the carrots?
I forget the tracks we had.
But all of because you've got some ungodly number of people on this.
Like it's so funny. There was this one time where I take iodine.
You worried about a nuclear attack?
No, just one. I take 125 mcgs a day.
Why?
And
why iodine?
Just part of my daily dietary intake.
Data tells us to take iodine. You're gonna have to come up with a better answer.
There's markers for it. So at the time, I was doing this zinc test where have you ever done this? Where you can test whether you're zinc deficient or not by putting this in your mouth, and if you taste the zinc, you're zinc deficient. If you can't taste anything, you're good on zinc.
Interesting.
And so I just came primed from that. And so basically you're looking at your body's reaction to doing it. And I thought, that's interesting. So I did the iodine and it tastes really good to me. And I thought, does that mean my body's asking more of it? And so I started doing 2 drops instead of 1, just playfully doing it. And then a month later, my labs show up, and as a team, we're looking at this, and they're like, wait a second, that result makes no sense. And I had to bashfully confess, I've deviated from the protocol. I did 2 drops instead of 1. But any deviation...
Was it a good deviation?
No, it was a bad deviation.
Really? So even though it tasted... I thought the punchline was going to be if it tastes good. Like,
no.
Of course, I should have known better.
This is like me going off and doing something with my mind of
Right.
like, maybe this is a good idea. But it's funny because I cannot do anything without it showing up in the data. It's like I have 24/7 surveillance on my body in all the measurements we take. So whether it's my wearables or my imaging or blood draws, it is so comprehensively captured in every moment with everything I'm doing. I have found every time I do something, it immediately manifests, it's not immediately, but it manifests in the data and the team can tease it out.
So then let's get back to the things you're actually putting in your body. So that people don't want to punch me because I can feel that they're going to. So we have our super veggies, which we turn into a hummus. We've got the 5-step ultra bitter, but actually I've damaged my palate because I eat clean. So to me, that was fun. But the ultra bitter, dark chocolate, high polyphenol, no heavy metals, so on and so forth. Looks like we're going to get to some sort of berry smoothie.
Yeah.
We've got chocolate covered berries. I'm guessing it's the same chocolate melted. Looks like maybe some nuts on it. Extra virgin olive oil. Any special thing
Same
about
thing
that?
as chocolate, it's 5 levels deep
Okay.
in terms of the purity.
Probably worth going through the 5 on that. But first, and then what's the mystery drink here?
Oh, this is for breakfast. So this first here tin is 50, I think it's 54 pills. So in the morning,
Jesus Christ. That's a lot of pills.
yeah. So you wake up, you drink Green Giant, 54 pills.
But so much of what you do is like, oh, the data just tells us to keep going. But how did you pick the 54 pills to start with?
Yeah, same process.
What's the first step though?
So
randomly ingest bizarre things. There had to be some logic. So I'm guessing you're working with a guy. That guy is like Oliver, what's his name? Oliver?
Yeah.
Oliver what?
Dr. Zolman.
Dr. Oliver Zolman is like, take these 75 pills, we narrow it down to 54, giving us the results that we want. Something like that.
Yeah,
he's got some methodology. That's the one part that's missing from all this is like, what's that first experimental step? But since we don't need that, because we're just going to tell people to eat and take what you're taking, you have those broken down on your website?
Yes.
So we can link to that in the show notes.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything here is all on the website. Everything is available for everyone.
All right. Green Giant. What is Green Giant?
It is chlorella powder that includes...
sounds terrifying. Is chlorella something that grows?
It's so it has spermidine.
Is that something that grows? Like, I've heard those names, but honestly, is there a spermidine plant?
Spermidine's in a lot of foods, mushrooms.
Okay, so it's a ingredient.
Yeah,
for lack
it's just
of a
that
better word?
it's 13.5 milligrams. Then there's amino acids.
It smells like cat food, Brian. It tastes good though.
It's delicious.
Wow. I
is
thought
the
based on
thing.
the smell, I'm like, I'm going to hate
This
this
is the
one.
thing. Everyone.
It really does smell like cat food, but it doesn't taste like. Not that I know what cat food tastes like, but it doesn't taste like I expected from the smell. Has an aftertaste of bubble gum. That's unexpected.
I rarely experience anyone who doesn't eat this food with me and arrive at the same place.
This is really nice.
It is. The whole thing is very nice.
I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to confess to something.
Yeah.
I burped a few minutes ago and could taste the master veggie, and I was like, that was nice. Like, even the burp was nice.
Yeah.
So I tried going vegetarian at one point, and I did not like it at all. And I was always like, that's a lie. I tried going way more vegetables. Let me be very careful in my words. So I am now, call it 80% of my calories come from meat, 20% from vegetables. I tried to reverse it and do 20% from meat and 80% from vegetables. I didn't feel good. And I was always like, well, I just didn't do it intelligently. I wasn't following a protocol. I was like, what vegetables do I happen to have in my refrigerator? Start eating a lot of those. I would be very interested to try this exact protocol and see how we do. But will there be a transition period where I'm like crazy diarrhea because my microbiome isn't ready for this? Like, is there a transition to go through, or is it like wake up tomorrow and just start going crazy?
Each person's different in terms of the transition period. But to your point is correct, though, that the reason why I take 100 pills a day is if the budget is 2,000 calories a day and the objective is perfect nutrition and it's vegan, then this is what keeps my body in that perfect state. And so this is why a lot of people who do try to go vegan or do caloric restriction fail, is because their body's missing critical, important pieces of nutrition. And so this basically is addressing. So this is what I did, is I put myself on this, I call this my autonomous self. It's at 2,000 calories a day, an hour of exercise a day, it's vegan, and I just let my body run. So looked at muscle mass, body fat, and I measure all these things. Get an ultrasound, I'm doing full body ultrasound, looking at tendons, ligaments, muscle. I measure everything. Full body MRI of fat, of liver. And then we say, how is this doing? And it's working. Like, it basically has tuned my body to near perfect health.
So interesting.
And so this is the thing.
Christ,
so
Bryan.
This
is so. I didn't expect that you're on your longevity arc, as the kids would say. I didn't see this coming from our last interview, man. This is so interesting. And if you didn't look like an elf, I don't know if I would believe in all of it. But given that you do, like, I'm over here, how fast can I eat this stuff? Okay, so walk me through berries and...
This is going to be your favorite pudding. This will be your favorite dish.
What is the puffy stuff?
Oh, that's pea protein.
Pea protein?
Yeah, you might want to mix it up a little bit, otherwise it might get caught in your throat.
Let's go.
So this is nuts, macadamia nuts, walnuts, flaxseed, sunflower lecithin, pomegranate seeds. And most people think it tastes like a dessert.
Yeah, there's no thinking. It does taste like a dessert.
Yeah.
But, let's not trick people. This is not Cold Stone ice cream. But it is tasty.
I'm repulsed by Cold Stone ice cream.
You take that back. You take that back right now. Cold Stone ice cream is delicious. Is that because so Tom Hanks once said when he was losing all the weight for Castaway, he said it got to the point where I didn't want to eat a chocolate cake. You didn't have to tell me. He was like, the idea was disgusting. Yeah. I've never gotten there.
Yeah. So the other day someone had
God damn, this is good, Bryan.
They had a bag of something, like some chip or something, and I grabbed one and I put it in my mouth, and it just, I could taste the chemicals.
Yeah.
It was almost like eating gasoline.
Now, for people in the comments saying everything is chemicals, yes, you are correct, but there are some things that taste like chemicals.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean by that.
Yeah, it was like gasoline.
Yeah. This is really nice, man. You're making me a believer over here.
Yeah. And so you put it all together, and I mean, the people that have been on this...
Who created these recipes?
We did as a team.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're just constantly working on it. It's, again, people...
Are there bananas in this?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have passed a lie detector that there are bananas in here.
Yep. Yep. You're getting the banana. There's some banana flavor in the pea protein. Yep. But I would imagine, Tom, if you did this and you had some duration of time on this, you would probably say you can't imagine life not doing it.
After eating this,
feel that good.
I think I have to do this. Like, I have to try this. To do our time together justice. This is so tasty. If that can be made into a hummus, because the mushrooms freak me out. Exactly. To be honest.
Yeah.
But it tasted great. This is freaky. All right, and we still have more to go.
And then if you want to be wild,
I want to be wild.
Like this is so same dark chocolate with a few berries, and so it just kind of
Let's see how we do here. Strawberries make everything taste good. That's nice, man. It's really nice. And do you eat a plate like, is this part of the protocol?
I don't eat that on a daily basis. I serve these up to friends when we do our blueprint brunches.